top 10 most expensive whiskey in the world in 2022. The distilled alcoholic beverage of whiskey is made from fermented grain mash. Grains such as barley, corn, rye, and wheat are generally used in the process. It is interesting to know that during the 18th century in America, whiskey was a preferred currency among Pennsylvania residents. What is more interesting is that most of the expensive bottles of whiskey are priced high, not just due to their age, quality, or taste, but due to the casks that contain them. Let us have a look at the 10 most expensive bottles of whiskey in the world 2022. 1. Isabellas Illa USD 6,000 to 100,000. A bottle of Isabellas Illa is the most expensive whiskey that money can buy. The price tag of more than $6 million that comes with a bottle of this whiskey is because of the decanter that contains it. It features 8,500 diamonds, 300 rubies, and exquisite white gold. Talking about a whiskey, it's one of the finest ever and is the epitome of luxury Scotch whiskey. 2. The Emerald Illa Collection USD 2 million. Sold in February 2021, the Emerald Illa Collection was sold in a box containing 7 pieces including the 30-year-old whiskey, a bespoke beverage, Celtic egg handcrafted from the emerald and 18-karat gold, a fabric 22-karat gold timepiece, and a Cohiba Siglo Grand Reservoir cigar with gold-plated cutter. It was created by the Irish Bradley family and was sourced using the rarest and oldest triple distilled whiskey from the world's oldest distillery in Bushmill, Ireland, and places in the Pedro Ximénez cask. 3. The Macallan 1926 USD 1.9 million. In 2019, a 60-year-old bottle of Macallan was bought at a Sotheby's auction for $1.9 million US. Originally distilled in 1926, it was sold in its original cask, number 263. This was the first bottle that featured a hand-painted design by Irish artist Michael Dillon and was part of the Macallan Fine and Rare Collection. It is dubbed as the Holy Grail of whiskey. 4. The Macallan Michael Dillon 1926, $1.53 million US. Hand-painted by Irish painter Michael Dillon and commissioned by Fortnum and Mason, the 60-year-old whiskey was released in 1999 and sold at a Christie's auction in November 2018 for $1.53 million US. The art depicts the Macallan Speyside Estate's cherished Easter Elch's house, also belonging to the famous cask 260 Surrey, like the above. This particular one also receives much of its value due to the illustration. This bottle is the only one of its kind when it comes to design. 5. Anaichiros Full Card Series USD 1.52 million. Granted that they receive a hefty amount of $1.53 million US for 54 bottles. However, these bottles are truly of value in a set and so was sold in that format. The only Japanese whiskey created in a Scotch-style malt on this list, the Anaichiros Full Card Series companies 54 bottles, each representing a playing card and a deck. Then Haniyo Distillery, no longer operational, which adds to the rarity of this collection. Founded in 1941 by Isuji Akudo, his grandson only managed to conserve 400 casks of the whiskey from this particular distillery, out of which he tested and hand-selected 54 individual whiskeys for each playing card. This set of whiskey was released between 2005 and 2013 and was finally sold for the amount of $1.53 million US at the Bonham's Fine and Rare Wine and Whiskey auction in Hong Kong in 2020. Before being sold at the auction, the set was on display at the Japanese and Scotch whiskey bar in Hong Kong called Club King. 6. The The Macallan Valerio Adame 1926, 1.1 million USD. With only 12 of its kind in the world, designed and crafted with a pop artist Valerio Adame, this whiskey's decanter is placed in a special cabinet, distilled in 1926 and bottled in 1986. It is estimated to have a price tag of 1.1 million US dollars, and was last sold through an auction in 2020 when a famous whiskey collector from Colorado called Richard Gooding passed away and his collection was auctioned off. It is believed out of the remaining 11 that remain, one was destroyed in an earthquake and the other has been drunk. 7. The Macallan Peter Blake 1926, 1.04 million US dollars. The Macallan Peter Blake 1926 had a cask seasoned with sherry. It was bottled in 1926 and aged in Speyside Distillery from 60 years until 1986. Out of 40 bottles, 24 were dressed in labels by famous artists Valerio Adame and Michael Dillon. Included 2 bottles featuring labels designed by these artists have fetched over 1 million US dollars in the past year. 1 bottle was commissioned to be painted while 2 were auctioned in black bottles. The remaining 14 were to be offered as part of Macallan's vintage release program. The first release of 12 bottles was in 1983, and to reflect the exclusivity of the Signal malt, the Macallan teamed up with pop artist Sir Peter Blake, best known for his design of the album cover of the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, to design the label, making it truly valuable. In May 2018, one of the 12, the Macallan Peter Blake 1926 6-year-old whiskies came up for auction at Benham's in Hong Kong and sold for approximately 1.04 million US dollars. 8. The Macallan Lolli Legacy Collection USD 993,000. Designed by Flash glassmaker and jeweler Lolli, the Macallan Lolli Legacy Collection is a set of 6 stunning crystal decanters containing some of the rarest of the Macallan single malts aged from 50 to 65 years old. Each of 6 sought-after limited edition decanters had originally been single released and are the product of the decade-long collaboration between the Macallan and Lolli. The bottles are housed in the bespoke natural ebony cabinet that also holds 6 miniatures and 6 pairs of Lolli Macallan glasses. It came up for the auction in April 2017 at Sotheby's in Hong Kong, where we saw it sell for 993 US dollars. 9. The Macallan Red Collection USD 975,756. Featuring the oldest age whiskey ever to be released by the Macallan at 78 years old, the Macallan Red Collection went up for auction at Sotheby's in London in 2020. The collection also has a 74-year-old whiskey as part of the rare set of 6 auctioned off. Despite the Macallan Red Collection being made available to purchase in extremely limited numbers, you will see the collection sell for around 100,000 US dollars. Otherwise, this particular series differs from the standard release thanks to its rare whiskies and exclusive labels illustrated and signaled by Spanish artist Javi Henares. There are reportedly only 2 sets in existence. The set auctioned off was acquired by a private Asian collector. The proceeds from the sale went to City Harvest London to provide almost 2.5 million meals for those in need. 10. The Macallan M 628,205 USD. The 6-liter bottle of the Macallan M is one of the oldest and most expensive whiskies in the world. The decanter that contains it is made of handcrafted crystal and was designed and created by 17 crafters. The last bottle of the Macallan M was sold at the auction in Hong Kong for 6,628,205 USD. They are aged in Spanish oak for 25 to over 75 years.